people looked so much older than we do now. Like you look at videos of, like I said before, like the guys from Cocoon, and they
Right.
are like in
Right.
their 40s, and like the guys from Jaws, like Richard Dreyfuss, like they are, 37. There's a picture, and I wish I could share my screen here, but there's a picture that I put on my Substack of Norm and who's the mailman from
The
Cheers?
guy from Cheers.
Yeah, the guys from Cheers,
Yeah.
37 and 36. Like I'm
Amazing.
in my 50s. I mean, the idea that Norm was 36 when we were watching Cheers is incredible. So
Mind blowing.
it's
Yeah.
mind blowing, right? It's like, and that was only, 40, maybe 50 years ago. So let's talk about first about the conspiracy theory of what people like say is the reason that people look so much older back then, right?
Right. So, yeah, so I, like you, saw constantly on social media these side by side comparisons, right? This is
Right.
what men used to look like. This is what the same age looks like now. And it was always cast in a conspiratorial sense. Like,
Right.
and the conspiracy is basically this manosphere, kind of like a right wing, semi religious right wing thing of like, they're putting something in the water,
Right.
essentially.
For
Men
feminine.
used to be yeah, they're feminizing men so they can control them. So they're making men more submissive, and they're lowering testosterone levels, and the new world order or the deep state is doing this, or maybe it's the reptilian aliens that are trying to take over.
Right. The little girl
And it's
fairy.
always couched as in that sense. And I think one of the reasons the video did pretty well is because it's still this ongoing
Right.
conspiracy theory that men used to be grizzled cowboys that could, shoot from the hip and take down bad guys. And now they're just like, little dough faced babies and, they're submissive and all this stuff. So I looked into it and there are a lot of like logical rational reasons
Right.
for it. You want me to list some?
Yeah. So okay. So this is where what gets interesting. So first of all, I want to show something. I've never done this before. Oh, look at that. There's Norm. I don't know if you can see this. Um, so let's talk about why um yeah. So let's talk the real reason, because you really looked into this. Like most people just think it's so weird, or and then you have the crazy people who are like, no, it's actually, the fact that there's like something in the water, or like, and we are actually like there's a conspiracy. I don't know who wants to feminize men and make them, probably women want to make men look younger now and more and not as masculine, quote unquote. So anyway, what did you find out? That's what I really want to get into, because it is really interesting what you found out when you did.
Right. So, well, one thing is like smoking is a huge thing. Like
Smoke.
everyone smoked. Everyone was smoking, you know, in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. I mean, everyone was smoking, 80s even. It was just like houses, American homes had ashtrays everywhere and everyone smoked inside around other people. So even if you weren't a smoker, you were just constantly around like cigarette smoke. And as we all know now, which is why cigarette smoking has bottomed out in modern life, is it's like it's not just terrible for your health internally, but it's terrible on your skin. It ages you. Like it gives
Right.
you wrinkles, it gives you that leathery like cowboy look,
Yeah.
and so even if you were just around it, so that affected your skin. There are other things like I was amazed to look at sunscreen statistics, like the actual use of sunscreen just only in recent years skyrocketed. It used to be that either people didn't use it or they were just putting things like baby oil on. Like baby
Right.
oil was basically repackaged and remarketed as like sunscreen, which is like basically useless. People were just like, as I say in the video, like rotisserie chickening themselves like in the sun.
Yeah,
And
I
of
mean,
course,
it's amazing that I look the way I look, because I mean, who didn't? I used to wear that what was that stuff, like, I used to put baby oil on my skin and, like, go out and try to get, like, a super cool tan and, like, put that stuff in my hair, uh, that sun stuff, or lemon juice in my hair. I mean, this is how 80s I was. And I'm amazed that I'm so handsome still.
yeah,
But I mean, I understand that most of these guys were just like in the sun all the time, smoking up a storm,
And
and
drinking.
drinking like crazy and dying
Drink
younger and just
I mean,
not taking care of themselves.
yeah, you watch Mad Men, for example, right?
Yeah,
Sums up the 60s. It's just like there's whiskey in the offices. People are drinking nonstop all day. They're smoking nonstop all day. And it's like, if you look at statistics now, alcohol has use has dropped, cigarette use is through the floor. Another big thing is just the health craze. Like everyone's so health crazed now.
right.
They're very hyper focused on what they're putting in their body, measuring vitamins, measuring, things like this. And everyone's super into that. And also skincare. Like skincare is a massive industry now. People are slathering on God knows what on their faces, on their skin. They're getting injections. They're going to the doctors. They're getting facelifts and stuff like that. Yeah, look at that. 49.
That's what's his name, Wilford Brimley. That I mean, first of all, I thought the guys in Cocoon were 80 years old. Like
By the way,
they were
yeah,
living in old age homes, I thought, like,
yeah,
right?
this scene here that you're looking at is supposed to be an elderly retirement home, and he's 49.
He's 49. Now,
Yeah.
actors lie a little bit about their age, but it can't be lying that much. I mean, look at this guy. This
Yeah.
guy is he's anyway, he's 10 years younger than I am, or almost 10 years younger. I mean, so that's crazy. So, okay, so we're talking about smoking.
The
We're talk
video
Yeah, we're talking
is
about
is public perception. So when you look at a Cheers, when you look at a Wilford Brimley, these were the actors. When you look at a Cary Grant, these were the actors that society put on screen as this represents us.
yeah,
We think this is what represents us. This is what we want to see. This is what we want. Audiences don't want that anymore. And so what you're seeing and perceiving with your eye are Timothy Chalamet, or a Robert
yeah.
Pattinson, or these younger,
Yeah,
uh,
that
boyish,
yeah,
even
kinda
Pedro
start with Leonardo DiCaprio back when he was in, like, Titanic days. Like, those were the model.
more androgynous.
Yeah.
They don't want Rambo. They don't want Sylvester Stallone, the ripped abs and the huge muscles and stuff like that. They want like a Pedro Pascal who's more like, he's not like some huge bodybuilder
He's like a
action
sensitive
hero,
sensitive
right? He
sensitive
just
man.
loo- he just looks like a dude. Like
Cries, yeah, he cries, and he cries easily. Yeah,
he
he's great.
cries easily. This is what audiences want. And so there is this idea that there is a cherry picking element to all of this, meaning it we perceive it that way because that's what's put in front of our eyes, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there has been some crazy shift. The shift has maybe only occurred in our society on what we hold up as what represents us.
Yep.
So that doesn't mean grizzled 36-year-old have gone away. It just means we like boyish looks now
Yeah.
rather than hyper
So,
masculine
yeah,
looks.
if you look at you were at some one point, you compared the Superman of the '80s,
Christopher Reeve, yeah.
Reeve, and then with the Superman now, who's like a boy. I don't remember the actor's name, but it's just a different look. Or the Spider-Mans, the Spider-Mans of our youth, like the Spider-Man of the Electric Company, and like the Spider-Man, and then the Spider-Man now is like kind of they're more boys. And again, that's just a cultural shift.
Yeah. But by the way, just on that point, like it blew my mind that Christopher Reeve was only 24 when he did
That's
Superman.
I know.
That I
To
can't
me, he
wrap my
feels like
brain around it.
he's, like, older than I am. Like, I feel like I mean, when I look at those actors, they all feel older, and maybe it's because I knew them because I was looking at them when I was a boy, but, like, they all feel older than I am now. Like,
Mhm,
they're like
mhm.
men. Yeah, I guess I've never really resigned to the fact that I became a man at one point.
Right.
This is funny. You showed a picture. I'm gonna add this. This is The Rock when he was 16. That's 16? Can people
It's
see this?
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
you have to go to the video if you're listening to this in audio, but, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Alright, so I found that the other thing that you did mention, though, that did spark my interest is that there is a men do have less testosterone now, right? Like, there are
Yeah.
what's up with that?
Yeah, so it's been a very slow decline annually.
Mhm.
in average testosterone levels, and this is based on real scientific papers, real scientific studies, that since the 70s there has been, I think it's like a 0.9% drop in testosterone.
Wow.
Um, and that could be attributed to like quite a lot of things. I mean, nicotine, there are some studies that show that nicotine increases or at least stimulates testosterone. And obviously, traditional nicotine intake has dropped. Our diets have changed. Our entire lifestyles have changed. I mean, it's not like some huge mystery that the way we live now is shockingly different than the way the the boomers or even the greatest generation grew up. That they were more physical. Everyone was more physical. Everyone was, yeah.
There he
Everyone.
is. Just showing,
Sean
uh,
Connery at
Sean
26.
Connery at 26. I mean, are you kidding me? This is
Y-
26, but look,
Yeah.
literally, he has a cigarette in his mouth. So
Yeah,
there.
literally has a cigarette in his mouth. Everyone was smoking. Everyone was moving. There was no big like sedentary lifestyle worries. Everyone was moving. Everyone was lifting. Everyone was running, moving more. Physical exercise increases, you know, and stimulates testosterone. And so when society changes as fast as we have due to technology, there's no surprise that you're going to see biological changes.
Right. So, okay, so the conspiracy theories aren't true. We aren't we it's just there's a lot of other factors at work here. So it does amaze me. The one person you didn't put in Norm, not Norm, what's his name? Mr. From Three's Company, the landlord. Now his name is escaping me. This is when I get old. But anyway, like I can't believe that guy was like in his 40s because he looks, 75 years old and will always look 75 years old.